Have you ever wondered what it's like to live in a country where war, violence, and instability are daily realities? Some nations across the world are caught in a cycle of conflict, where their people face unimaginable challenges every single day. Today, we'll take a deep dive into the 10 most dangerous countries in the world in 2025, where peace seems a distant dream. These countries are not just struggling with violent conflicts, but they are also dealing with extreme poverty, political instability, and a lack of basic services. Let's uncover the harsh truths behind these nations and see why they are considered the most dangerous places on Earth. Ready? Let's begin this journey together. 1. Afghanistan. At the top of the list is Afghanistan, a country that has been in a state of war for more than 2 decades. The ongoing conflict has left millions of people suffering and struggling for survival. Afghanistan's journey to peace has been incredibly difficult, and the path ahead looks even more uncertain. The country faces extreme violence daily, with constant attacks from insurgent groups, especially the Taliban. The people of Afghanistan live in constant fear, as bombings, shootings, and raids are common. Even the most basic services, like healthcare and education, are either non-existent or severely underfunded due to corruption and mismanagement. The nation has been left in ruins, with shattered infrastructure and a broken economy. The political system is unstable, with no clear path to unity or peace. Afghanistan's people are trapped in a cycle of poverty and violence, with no end in sight. Even though international intervention and aid are present, the situation remains dire. The ongoing war between the government and insurgent forces makes it one of the most dangerous countries to live in, where every day is filled with uncertainty and despair. 2. Yemen. Since 2015, Yemen has been devastated by a brutal civil war that has turned it into one of the worst humanitarian crises of our time. Tens of thousands of people have died, and millions have been displaced, facing severe food shortages, lack of clean water, and inadequate medical care. The war has left the country's infrastructure in ruins, and terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS have used the chaos to expand their operations. Despite peace talks, the situation remains dire, and Yemen continues to be one of the most dangerous places in the world, with no end in sight for its suffering. 3. Syria. Syria has been in the midst of a devastating civil war since 2011, making it one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Over 250,000 people have been killed, and millions more have fled the country. The war has destroyed major cities like Aleppo and Damascus, leaving them in ruins. Basic services such as healthcare, education, and clean water are virtually non-existent, plunging the population into extreme hardship. Terrorist groups, including ISIS, continue to carry out horrific attacks on civilians, adding to the country's suffering. The conflict has also led to a massive refugee crisis, with millions of Syrians fleeing to neighboring countries, especially in Europe. This has created further political and social tensions in host countries, which are struggling to accommodate the influx of refugees. Despite years of peace negotiations and ceasefires, Syria remains unstable with no resolution in sight. The government is fractured, and the nation is left in a state of constant conflict and suffering, with no end to the violence on the horizon. Russia, despite its size and wealth, faces significant challenges that make it one of the most dangerous countries in the world. High levels of corruption, inequality, and political instability have created a tense environment, with widespread poverty and social unrest. The government's response to protests has been brutal, with violent crackdowns on free expression and opposition movements. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has only heightened tensions, making Russia an increasingly volatile place to live. 5. South Sudan. South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, has quickly descended into conflict since gaining independence in 2011. Political and ethnic rivalries have led to a devastating civil war, resulting in over 400,000 deaths and millions displaced. The country's infrastructure has been destroyed, and basic services like healthcare and education are in crisis. Despite international peace efforts, South Sudan remains deeply divided, with ethnic tensions and violence continuing to plague its people. The road to peace is still far away, and the future remains uncertain. 6. Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. The DRC has been ravaged by decades of conflict, with thousands of lives lost and millions displaced. Armed groups continue to terrorize civilians, carrying out mass killings, kidnappings, and assaults. The country's weak government is unable to maintain control in many areas, allowing violence and lawlessness to thrive. Despite international peace efforts, the DRC remains one of the most dangerous places to live, with no end to the violence in sight. 7. Iraq. Iraq has been scarred by years of war, starting with the 2003 invasion and continuing with the rise of ISIS. Millions have been displaced, and thousands have died due to violence and terrorism. Though the government has reclaimed most of the territory once controlled by ISIS, smaller terrorist cells still pose a significant threat. Sectarian tensions between Shia, Sunni, and Kurdish communities continue to threaten Iraq's stability, and the government's corruption makes recovery difficult. Iraq's future remains precarious, and rebuilding the country will require significant effort and international support. 8. Somalia. Somalia is another country that has struggled with instability for decades. Prolonged political instability, poverty, and the constant threat of violence have made life difficult for millions of Somalis. Over 6 million people are in need of humanitarian aid due to conflict, famine, and terrorist attacks. The terrorist group Al-Shabaab, affiliated with Al-Qaeda, continues to launch deadly attacks across the country, further destabilizing the nation. Somalia's weak government and corruption have made it hard to recover from years of conflict, and the country remains one of the most dangerous in the world. 9. Central African Republic, CAR. The Central African Republic is mired in a prolonged humanitarian crisis. Armed conflict has ravaged the country, leaving millions of people living in extreme poverty. The government has limited control over vast areas of the country, and armed groups continue to wreak havoc. The violence has forced many to flee their homes, and those who remain face a daily struggle for survival. The CAR is one of the most dangerous places on Earth, with little hope for a peaceful future. 10. Sudan. Sudan rounds out our list as one of the most dangerous countries in the world. The country has been plagued by decades of conflict, including accusations of genocide in Darfur. Extremist groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS have carried out frequent attacks, further destabilizing the country. Sudan also faces political instability and corruption, making it difficult to achieve peace or progress. The country remains isolated on the international stage, and its people continue to endure harsh living conditions. Despite recent changes in leadership, Sudan's path to peace is uncertain and fraught with challenges. These 10 countries are suffering from violence, instability, and a lack of basic necessities. The people living in these regions are enduring unimaginable hardships every day. It's important for us to understand their struggles and remember that while the world faces challenges, there is always hope for change. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more important content. Stay safe, and let's continue to work towards making the world a better place.